Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. I'm Ryan, the channel admin, and today we're going to preview our clash away at Luton. At home to Luton. I think I've just got in the routine after 2 away games that all of our games are now away from home. But thankfully we are at home. It's really exciting to be back at Goodison, actually coming back off 2 wins. I think the fans are going to be really up for it and excited to get back. To hopefully win in ways against the Luton side, to be honest, that haven't done very well. And to be fair, I don't think anyone had expected them to pick up many points this season, really. I think there was an argument for them actually beating the record set by Derby County for the lowest number of points in the Premier League. But, they've done very well to even reach this. I mean, they've had promotion after promotion after promotion and reached the Premier League. And I think no one's got high expectations for them. That being said, this is Everton and at Goodison Park, and there'd be some people out there that wouldn't be surprised if Luton actually managed to get something against us. Just very quickly, welcome to those in the comments. Much appreciated. Make sure you smash the like button for me. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. We're over 2,500 subscribers now, which is wonderful. It is just myself on the stream today. And I'm hoping on the weekend tomorrow for the match, you'll have Robbie and Wes guiding you through all the post-match and pre-match coverage, which will be wonderful. But for the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to have a look at this Luton game. And of course, we can't do that without reflecting on the last 2 fixtures. Everton winning away at Brentford 3-1. I mean, I said in the preview for that game that I thought we would win, but I didn't think it would be as convincing as that. And it really was a strong, dominant performance from Everton. And then off the back of that, there was you can imagine the cynics in us are thinking that we're going to be shot down to earth again on Wednesday against Aston Villa. And there you go. It was a very esteemed performance away at Aston Villa. And if you haven't already seen my match reaction, make sure you do watch that with Basil on Wednesday because Everton played a very high block against Aston Villa. And really, we stopped them playing out. And what was very clever about what we did against Aston Villa was it wasn't a gung-ho press where we're just running and then you go and then you go. We were kind of dictating the play down to an area where we wanted them to pass it into. We'd set up a trap and then we'd outnumber them in every area of the pitch because we had five defenders when we needed to have 5 defenders. When we needed to play out wide, we had the wide winger and we had the wing back, and we also had a centre-back coming across. We had a midfielder coming across. So we always seemed to outnumber Aston Villa and stop them playing through us, stop them playing around us. It was very, very effective. And coming back to Goodison against Luton, I think the only difference maybe is that the 2 away games, we probably weren't expected to win any of them. But I think there'll be an expectation on us to beat Luton, given they are right at the bottom of the Premier League and arguably have the weakest squad in the division. But, Everton haven't won a game this season at home, and the home record is very poor. I think it's like 6 defeats in 8 games or something. So we're not getting good value for money at the moment at Goodison. But if we play like we have done away from home, at home, Luton will be an easy pickings for us. We'll be expected to go and control the game and control possession. So the biggest question for you guys in the comments today is, what do we do about the team? Because we played a 4-1, sort of like a 4-1-4-1 against Brentford, and then we've played a 4-5-2-3 formation against Aston Villa. And who comes in? Does Jack Harrison get another start? Is Beto or Calvert-Lewin? He started Beto in the Premier League games, but Calvert-Lewin's got 2 goals in 2 games, so surely he has to retain his place. Or do you go with the front 2? And then is it McNeil or Danjuma? Does Garner Gay get dropped? I mean, it's a good question, this one, because I don't think Luton are going to have much of the ball. I do think they'll sit back. You could argue you only need one number 6 with a bit of speed to just try and win the ball back, but the rest of them have to be good on the ball. And so there's question marks over whether Garner should play. And the other thing is, Decore was very good away from home in the game against Brentford, but I think he slows when you actually have to control a game and be on the ball and show a bit of technical quality with your passing. He's one that, takes a lot of touches. So I don't know whether he's going to play because I'm looking at the options and I'm thinking, you want your technical players who are going to unlock a defence. I think Decore is a good finisher, but then Yeah, I mean, I'd be intrigued to know what people think about that. But my reasoning is that I think that Everton played better without Decore and Garner on the pitch against Aston Villa. And when we made those substitutions, they slowed the pace of the game down and they took a lot more touches on the ball. So there's an interesting thought there. Just in terms of team news then, for Everton, just a few knocks possibly. There's one that might be a bit more than a knock, but nothing too serious. That's Vitaly Mikolenko. The Ukrainian left-back came off at half-time against Aston Villa, was replaced by Ashley Young. So Ashley Young didn't play a full match midweek. Of course, you wouldn't want him playing 3 games in a week, but looking at the options there, I also find it difficult to drop Nathan Patterson, who was very good against Aston Villa and showed a lot of tenacity, a willingness to get forward. And between the likes of Patterson and James Garner, you saw real determination in their play to make things happen, but also to stop opposition playing and stop them scoring. So Patterson, for me, has got to stay in at right back, regardless of whether Vitaly Mikolenko's available. So that could see Young drop out if Mikolenko has a recovery, but I don't think he'll be risked. And then at centre-backs, let's be honest, Michael Keane did well against Aston Villa, didn't put a foot wrong. I think having the 3 of them, they all backed each other. They all had each other's backs. So Keane hasn't done a lot wrong, but I think it is Tarkowski and Branthwaite for a shoe-in as the 2 centre-backs. So I want to know what people think about the team. What would you do? Kevin's just raised a good point in the comment. Seamus Coleman's also injured, and Andre Gomez and Dele are still a while away. I don't quite know what's going on with Andre Gomez. Do we have to pay him some kind of money if he plays for us? Or, yeah. And would it be nice to see Dele, but I think it'll be the next international break. It could be as late as November. Very, very unfortunate. He damaged some sort of scar tissue. So we won't see him for a while. Little bit on Luton Town. Then, of course, I don't know an awful lot about Luton. I saw them in their home game recently, and I thought they were decent, but they've not played very well. And there's one player that Evertonians will be thinking about in the comments is available. And is he available? It's Ross Barkley. The answer is unlikely. He trained on September the 22nd, but he's a 50-50 chance. Will he? I mean, he's possibly the best player, but he's not the same player as he was, and I think he'll get a horrible reception tomorrow if he is on the team for Luton Town. In terms of other injuries for them, Gabriel Asho, he's got a knee injury. Jordan Clark, he's also out. And Dan Potts, I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you who any of these players are. I am very sorry about that. Luton Town Football Club, that the last time we played them, as far as I remember, was 2006. Around that sort of time, Victor Anichebe scored in a home win for Everton. I think it was in the Cup. I'm just going to have a look at, so there's no recent history against them, of course. Just going to have a look at their results this season, of course, right at the bottom of the league. They've lost to West Ham. They lost to Fulham. They lost to Chelsea. They beat Gillingham. That was in the Cup. They lost to Brighton. And yeah, I'm just looking here at the last performance, really, which was against Wolves at home. And they played against 10 men for 61 minutes and still didn't win. Against a poor Wolves team. They did have 20 shots at goal on that game, 57% possession, 77% pass accuracy. So amazing pass accuracy, isn't there? No yellows, no reds, 10 corners. I mean, they were thoroughly dominant against 10 men, but couldn't put the ball in the net. I'll give you the lineup for that game. Kaminski up front, Burke, Lockyer, Bell, Kabora. I could name anyone. I could make the names up because I don't think people would know either way. Kaminski's in goal, Burke, Lockyer, Bell. It was a back 3, 4 in midfield, Kabore, Lokonga, Nakamba, Dotti, Brown, Morris, Akbene. 3-4-3. I think they're going to come to Goodison and completely sit back. And I think it's going to be about, I think it's a different game in that regard. It's not necessarily going to be like what we did against Villa, which is the high press, sort of pin them back, stop them playing out. Because I think it's going to be a case of they're going to sit back anyway. and Everton are going to try and dominate the game. We're going to have our centre backs practically in their half, I can imagine. And I think this is going to be about um, trying to break them down, trying to cause some problems. So, good question there from Everything Everton. He says, would you play DCL and Beto together? I don't think he's going to do it purely on the fact that we've had two results without them needing them to play together. I think he will go with Calvert-Lewin again. But what I would say is if they do sit back and say McNeil is left wing and Harrison's right wing, it's all about getting the ball in the box. And I think you'd want to have Beto and Calvert-Lewin. It could be absolute carnage with that. And then Onana and Garner in midfield, winning the second balls, keeping things ticking, breaking through the lines, and and causing Luton some real problems. I think this is the first time in a while I've been excited about a home game, confident that the squad is looking good. A lot of players are fit. Everyone's playing their part, even the subs coming on. So whether Dan Juma plays left midfield, McNeil or Jack Harrison, I think every option's got its own positives. The strikers are good. Your options there have never been as strong as that in a long time. The midfield, there's competition in there, I think. And your centre-backs, Branthwaite looks like a Rolls-Royce player. You know, he looks so comfortable with everything he does, doesn't get dribbled past. He's winning his duels. Tarkowski seems to have stepped up the last two games after having a really poor start to the season. I think he's really come back into it and is looking strong. So I'm feeling really positive. I am going tomorrow. I'm going to the match. I'm working after the game, but I'm excited to actually get to Goodison and watch a game where I think we're going to have polar opposite to the Arsenal game. And I really do think Everton will win convincingly tomorrow, possibly 2 or 3-0. I think Calvert-Lewin and Beto will both score. I think Beto will get one off the bench. But it could be a really convincing. I'm really confident. I think if we play as well as we did in those last two games, Luton won't stand a chance. But it's going to be a completely different style of match because they will sit back and we will have to play on the front foot. And you can argue that when we do have to play on the front foot, and we're not waiting for teams to make errors, in transition or overcommit or that sort of thing. We're not the best. Barry also does make a good point. Barry P in the comments. Thanks for watching, Barry. He says we need to not underestimate this Luton team. Yeah, the only difference with that, Barry, is I do think this newly promoted team is a particularly poor team on paper, and there hasn't been any real evidence of them doing an awful lot this season. So I'm not convinced that it will be another one of those sort of relegation nightmares at Goodison. I think Everton will put the hoodoo behind them, and I think we'll get 3 points tomorrow. Chris Litch, welcome. He says squad selection is huge. 5 at the back work. Do we rate to back 4? Yeah, I think it'll go to back 4. Because I think, I just don't think we need the 3 centre halves. You can argue it gives you quite a lot of solidity and allows the wing backs to get forward and overload the sides where there's wingers as well. But I think it was kind of like just for that game. Well, but we'll see. Excuse me. Want to go slow? Yes, we did make Tielemans look like Tom Davis against Aston Villa. Roy's got a good question for people in the comments. When was the last time Everton managed to win 3 games in a week? Yeah, don't jinx it, but if anyone's got the answer, that would be great. The Blues says Decore wasn't good against Villa because he came on as a centre mid. Yeah, but the Blues, that's his position, number 8. He's always said he prefers to play deeper, and he's just doing a job in the number 10 role. Got teams then, and get more of these coming in, please. It's not going to be a long preview today, but really want to focus on some of the comments. Pickford, Mikalenko, Branthwaite, Tarky, and Patterson. So, of course, that is on Mikalenko being fit. Gay and Onana, McNeil, Danjuma, Garner. How can you drop James Garner? He's there. Garner's number 10. Calvert-Lewin being dropped. Decore dropped. Interesting. Neil, hi Neil. He says main risk tomorrow is over expectation from the crowd and the team. I don't think the crowd will be overly expectating, to be honest. A scrappy 1-0. We need some luck. Yeah, Neil, at the same time, I know I've come on and I said I think it'll be a convincing win. I think Luton will sit behind the ball, try and frustrate us. I think an early goal is massive. If we get that, I think it'll be a free-for-all for Everton. I think we'll score a lot of goals and have a little bit of a really nice, comfortable afternoon. But the longer this game goes on, I think the crowd could get frustrated and then you could be lucky to just get a scrappy goal, with Luton sitting so many players behind the ball. How can we break them down? But I think we can. I really do think we will. James, hi James. He's saying he's winning the Fantasy Premier League. That's excellent, James. How many points are you on? And who's the nearest challenger? Eugene is going with a lovely 4-0 win for Everton tomorrow. And Peter Duggan, hi Pete, he's saying, I'll go with the back three, press high, and leave the back three to mop up any long balls. Yeah, I think Luton will play a lot of long balls. Yeah, possibly was as long ago as that. The Blues makes a really good point. He says, can't see Harrison and DCL starting twice in 3 days. I agree. Yeah. But form, it's one of them. Calvert-Lewin's on form. He's got the confidence. I think Beto has snatched at his chances so far. And he just needs a little bit of a head start. Chris has gone with a 2-0 Everton win. Love that, Chris. So, I'll give you my team. May contradict something I've said, but just from the comments and what people have kind of said, I think it's given me a bit of a food for thought. So I'm going to go with, I think Michaelenko's injured, so it's Ashley Young at left back and Patterson at right back with Tarkowski and Branthwaite. Midfield, James Garner and Amadou Onana. Both of them were phenomenal on Wednesday. It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. Harrison, Danjuma and McNeil all available, and then you've got Decore and you've got the temptation of going with the front two. I'm going to say we'll start off with Danjuma and McNeil. I don't think Harrison will start, although I do think he's the best option for the right side of midfield. I don't think he will start this game. So it's going to be McNeil and Danjuma. Although Danjuma was poor against Arsenal and very quiet against Aston Villa. So if Harrison was a little bit more fit and had a little bit more recovery time, I'd be playing Harrison. And then I think he'll go with Decore. I personally would be tempted to go with the two strikers. But we're at home against Luton. I'd love to see it, but I think it'll be Decore. And I think just on what people have said then, based on Calvert-Lewin's fitness record, I think Beto will start this game. Beto, whatever you want to call him. So Gary says we'll be 3-0 up at half-time. Absolutely love that. Mr. Blue Sky says 3-1 to Everton over the Mad Hatters. And if you want a little bit more of your Everton content, please join us tomorrow for the pre-match show. That'll be from around 2 o'clock. That'll be with Mr. Dave Weston and Robbie Pritchard, two of your finest Blues this side of the water. No, technically not, because the boat, one of them's on the Wirral, but we'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock with that pre-match show. And of course, 5:05 p.m. approximately, as soon as the final whistle goes, basically, we'll be here with our match reaction. Hopefully a really nice, comfortable win. Positivity. Sean Dyche was apparently, before the Brentford game, the fans were ready to get, the fans had enough of him. They said he's got a few games to save his job. Well, he's beat Brentford, an unexpected result. He's beat Villa, an unexpected result. Let's not go back to old Everton and crumble at home to a relegated team. We've got much better players than them on paper. We haven't got too many injuries. We've got a lot of quality. Let's go and beat Luton Town convincingly and sit here comfortably in mid-table Saturday evening and onwards and upwards. So there you go. I'm going with a 2-0 win for Everton. And looking forward to going to Goodison. Hopefully we don't end up with some egg on our face and it's a nice win. Guys, thanks for watching. Do me a favour, like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. Thank you so much. Take care.